Hi everyone, it's Tasleem here. When I got into dance, I had expectations of what I was going to get out of it, and I got so many things out of dance that I did not see coming. One of those lessons seems like an understatement, but was trust. Who would have thought that through dance I would have learned trust? And it wasn't just trust, like trusting what was happening on the dance floor, but I also learned to trust in other aspects of my life because of dance. So, in this video, I just want to cover some of the aspects of trust that I learned through dance and see if you guys can resonate, or I would love to hear any additions to this that you might have experienced. The first one is trusting that I would remember my steps and what I need to do, and that my body would remember. So in my last video, I talked about how the body remembers. And I was saying that for me, I just didn't understand this whole concept of muscle memory. It made sense in my head, but I hadn't experienced something where I could feel it in my body. So when I was out on the dance floor, I would be hesitant and trying to think through everything because I didn't trust that my body would just remember. And back then, I didn't know that there was this mechanism, which I spoke about in my last video, called myelin, that actually wraps the learning up of anything that we do so that we don't have to worry about the forgetting of it. And of course, every time we practice and do a deep practice of something, we hone in on that learning so that it gets solidified, and then we don't have to start all over again. I didn't know this about myelin, but when I was dancing, I could feel it. I could feel that something was happening where I actually had to just let go and trust and not worry so much about thinking through the moves, and they were just coming, and just trusting that my body could remember. The second aspect of trust that I learned through dance was trusting that I had this relationship with music that was beyond just listening, that my body could find the one or the two, like the different beats. And again, it wasn't a thinking thing. It wasn't that I was thinking necessarily about the one and the two, but just that I could also feel where the strong beats were, and trusting that the music would speak to me and I could respond to the music. And once I realized that this could happen, I would start doing other things that I hadn't even planned, that I hadn't even learned, because the music would call to me to like do these little subtle nuances, and it was amazing. The third part of trust that I learned through dance was trusting my partner, my dance partner. Now, in life, we have partners often that we choose, or that we know, or we're getting to know purposefully or intentionally. But out on the dance floor, and this can happen in life as well, like, especially in partner dance where we don't know who we're dancing with, oftentimes, sometimes I wouldn't have even known the person's name. I wouldn't have even had any conversation with them before, during, or after the dance. And I might not ever see them again. But dance taught me how to trust this other dancer, this other being in front of me. And I don't mean like handing over your life to them. What I mean is trusting that when you come together in that space, and oftentimes you're connecting physically, like with hands or touch, or sometimes it's even just energetically, but trusting that because of that connection, because you've taken that moment to be there together, that through dance, through the music, through the bodies, through the touch, and through the energy, you can feel what your partner is calling you to do. and your body will respond to that, and trusting that your body will feel it in a way that it will know how to respond. And that was huge for me because, again, I was so in my head that I would try to calculate it, but dance taught me how to just feel into that communication, into that connection. Another aspect of trust that dance taught me was to trust the floor that I am on. To trust the floor is huge in dance because I think we take for granted how much we use the floor, and the floor is like calling for us to use it. I mean, we're pressing into the floor. In a lot of the dances that I was doing, like, that was necessary. And I think in most dances it is, but in some of them, that was like a huge part of the dance. Like Kizomba in particular, for me, the pressing into the floor was huge. Like, you could just be in place and just pressing into the floor, and that reverberation of the pressing into the floor came into the rest of your body, so that not only you feel it, but when you're connected to your partner feels what's going through you, and the floor is pushing up that energy to you, around you, into your partner, and then that's where the communication happens. The floor also lets us make quick movements, and to like pivot or to move from one direction to another really quickly, and to spin. Like, I just would always feel like, oh, I can't spin, or I don't know how to get there fast enough, but I kept forgetting that there was something else there that's helping me, and it's the floor. And so I really had to like sit into this trusting of the floor, trusting that the floor would help me push off, that the floor would help me get quicker, that really using the floor, and knowing that the floor is inviting me to use it, and to use it more readily without being nervous about doing that. And I would use that in other areas of my life, just with walking and standing, and just anything to do with the floor. Dance taught me how to trust the floor that you're on. On that note, dance also taught me to trust gravity. Oh my God. Like, even though I was on the floor and I wasn't on anything like high up and, balancing on something, I was just balancing my body, and I would get fearful that I was going to fall, especially if I was being spun a lot, or if there was a new dance that I was learning and I just didn't understand like how I would get back to where I need to, or if it involved changing heights, and or being off axis, and just like wondering, how is this gonna work out that I'm gonna stay in balance and not fall, and be able to get myself up gracefully, like when I'm lowering and or changing heights. But I had to really realize that we have gravity, and gravity is there for us to be able to stay down and grounded, and keep us level and balanced, and that we use our body to counterbalance, but the gravity is what is actually helping us have any balance in the first place. So dance taught me really how to trust into gravity, which I think is huge. Another aspect of dance for me was that, as far as trust went, was trusting my intuition, trusting that what I feel, either from the music, my partner, from the floor, from what I remember in my practice, or whatever, what I feel is real. Like, that I don't have to wonder, like, did I feel that? Did I not? And dance really taught me how to like get into my body so that I could feel what's really going on, and to trust my ability to decipher what is going on. to not question myself so much. So I think in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is that dance taught me to trust myself. And I think that's huge in all areas of our life. If we could trust ourselves more, I think we would excel in every area. And to teach me how to trust myself more and become really more embodied and to feel what I'm sensing, when something doesn't feel right, when I feel like, oh, this, even if I can't see myself, if there's not a mirror, like I can feel that there's something happening in my body that might not be quite right. And dance taught me to trust more in what I feel. And when things feel right, to go for it instead of to hesitating and holding back, to just like feel into it, trust it, and go with it. And also, it taught me how to trust into mistakes, that mistakes don't really need to be thought of as negative. Like, if I felt something and my partner didn't mean for me to do that or feel that, but I go with it, I've now turned that mistake into something new and something fun, and to trust in those new creations, into those new manifestations that maybe weren't the original intention, weren't the original thing that was being planted for me to do, but then I created something else, and my partner can feed off of that. And I think in all of these trusts, what it adds up to for me, one of the biggest trust lessons that I learned through dance was to trust in the universe. That whether we're making what we might have referred to as mistakes, first of all, or whether we are, maybe falling a little and losing balance, but we catch ourselves and do something different, that to trust in the universe, that where you are right now is exactly where you're meant to be, and what you just did was meant to happen, and you can shift it, you can turn it into something that you really want, and that the universe is not taking you off course or leading you off on a wrong path. I think dance taught me that where you are, to trust where you are, and that you're on the right path, especially if you're out there dancing, because if you're able to dance, there are so many things in alignment in that moment, in those many moments. And to trust that actually that means that you are exactly where you are meant to be, and there's something bigger that's showing you the right path. I hope this brings a little bit of enlightenment to your idea of trust, to your idea of dance, what you're getting out of dancing, what you're learning from your dance lessons or dance performances. There's so much more beyond steps and the way that you look or the way that people see you express yourself to dance than just what it looks like on the outside. And there's so much more to lessons in dance than just putting pieces together, because I think dance actually puts your pieces together so that you learn all these amazing lessons that you can carry forth into your off the dance floor life as well. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys soon.